Hi everyone, good to have you back. Today we have an interesting, unique and creative free VST plugin for music production I believe you are going to like. Just check this out. This is without the plugin. Just a simple soft pad string-like instrument. Now this is with the plugin enabled. I believe you heard that. Have in mind, this is just a very simple effect structure I came up with just for this demonstration. Nothing serious, alright? Now, the plugin we are talking about is called MEGAMOD, and it is by Sync Audio. In a simple term, this is a plugin that has the capability of adding movement to the signal you are processing it with, and not only that, it has the capability to host another plugin. As you can see on the screen, I loaded Pro Q4 and was able to add some filters and effects that it came with, specifically a randomizer that gave me the ability to now automate the sample. And the sample actually came from Flex, the preset called 80s Theater. So if you stick with me to the very end of this video, I'm going to be sharing use case in my own opinion, and I also present to you the pros and the cons. But before we continue, let's first of all talk about the plugin so that you get familiar with the features and understand exactly how to use it. So when you insert it, this is exactly what you will have. Now with this, you will be able to load other plugins, as you can see. Now if you install this for the very first time, you won't be able to see this plugin. The first thing you need to do after installing this is to come over to this ranch icon here, click on that. It will take you to this window, and on this window you simply click scan plugins. It will bring up this menu. You just come right over here, scan for new or updated VST3 plugins. So once you click on that, another menu comes up, you hit scan. Then once it is done, all the plugins you have on your system will be populated here. And after that, you are good to go. So now, like I said, it's a plugin that has the capability to host other plugins, giving you room to manipulate, automate, or create a very unique kind of output from a given sample you are working with. Now, I know some will say, but you can also achieve this inside your door. That is true, but think of it, something with this creative workflow gives you more room to be creative and to be, just the freedom to experiment and come out with crazy sounds. And once you've loaded your plugin, let's use Pro Q3. Let's use FabFilter Pro Q3 for example. FabFilter, yeah, there you have it. Pro Q3, you click on that, it will load, and as you can see, it has loaded right inside the plugin, which looks very cool. You can agree with me on that. So what you actually see now is this plugin hosting your third-party plugin. All right, now take for example you want to manipulate the sample we have, which is this sound. All you need to do is to come over to this section here. This is where you add the available effects, or what will I call it, textures that this plugin came with. And here comes the downside. What you have is just limited to me. Hopefully they get to be updating this, or they have the opportunity, maybe insert a slot that can give you access to things like reverb, delay, and things like that. You can add here distortion, or think of creative tools you can manipulate your sound with, like the chorus, flanger, and stuff like that. All right, so with what they have, let's move forward to trying out the randomizer. This was actually the one I used. So in a situation you want to make your string move, or your guitar sample, or even your vocals move, you can use this. So all I did was to define a certain frequency Then after that, you come over to this section and click on assign. It comes up like this. You just click. Hold on, I need to make this big. All right. Now you just click on what you want to manipulate. But before that, let me just deactivate that. You can deactivate by right clicking. To select it again, you left click. To deactivate, you right click. So I want it to come up a little bit like this. Then I'll click, I'll assign on frequency. Why? Because I want to manipulate the frequency. I want it to have this movement. So once that is done, when you press play, nothing happens until you determine how much of that effect you want by toggling. As you can see, you're increasing this. So once that is done, you see the movement is on. Now, right below here, you can see more features to fine tune this movement. As you can see, it's not smooth, it's all over the place. So to fine tune that, you come to the amount, set how much you want it. I normally put this at 100. Then for the smooth, this determines how the flow goes, whether it's gonna be smooth or it's gonna be, jerky, kind of, if I may put it that way. Just fine tune all these things to suit your taste. And finally, you change the time signature. It's clearer, 1/4, 1/8, as the case may be. It all depends on what you are going for. If you want it faster, if you want it smoother, it all depends on you. Now at this point, when you play the same track, now you can see exactly what it is adding to that signal. And yes, you can as well achieve this inside FL Studio by setting this like this, touching the frequency knob to an extent just to trigger it. Make sure it's the last thing you touch. Then you come over to, there is a trigger knob here. Hold on, I need to find that. So we need this. Okay, so once you've tweaked the knob you want to automate, especially when it doesn't work in FL Studio, because some third-party plugins doesn't have automation directly. So once you toggle this as the last knob you touched, you come over here, right click, and you can see that was the last thing you touched. Now you can now see create automation clip. So that's how you can achieve this inside FL Studio, but that's not what we are doing today. Now you can see what we've created, and you heard exactly what is adding to the sound. And trust me, you can do many other things. You can decide to add more of that, like I did in my own, and create a high pass filter or a low pass filter depending on the type of creative sound you're trying to achieve. Okay, so at this point, the target knob will be this. The target knob will be this. So all I will do is to click on assign, come over here again, click on that, and use this to set the amount of the processing. Alright, and that is pretty much about this plugin. I mean, there is a lot of other presets you can try out. You can see the macro, you can see the LFO, which is also unique and interesting. Let me delete this one and try that. Assign, and now we have this. So you can decide to use different shapes they have, as you can see, and as well do the customization using all these features here. And you can as well see MIDI macro, you can see envelope. So feel free to try it out. Just wanted to bring this to your notice if you are not yet aware of a tool like this. But I wish the developer will get to populate all these presets here and add more features. Trust me, it's gonna make this plugin crazy. And not only EQ, you can use it on compressor, you can trigger reverb, you can trigger anything that is a plugin inside your DAW. So feel free to experiment it even on your vocals, on your drums, and let us know what you think about this unique plugin. I'll be leaving the link in the description. Share your honest thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't, and most importantly, please turn on your bell notification so that you get notified when next I upload the next video. And trust me, that helps the channel and the performance when it comes to algorithm and YouTube stuff. And that brings us to the end of today's video. For more amazing free plugins like this, I have a whole lot of videos I've made on free tools that is worth trying out. The video on the screen is a playlist. Go there, who knows, you might find something unique that you need, and I'll see you there. As always, stay creative, stay focused, and bye for now.